Hey y'all, welcome back to the Philbilly channel. Today I'm going to answer a couple questions that I get. These two questions I get more than anything. The number one question is, what's a good still to start with? And that depends on you, your situation, and how much money you have. So, you want to get into distilling. You don't want to invest a bunch to start out, because you don't know if you like it yet or not. I think you are going to like it. There's a 99.9% chance you're going to fall in love with it. Either way, you want to start small. It depends on what you have. Do you have a garage? Do you have a patio? Are you available to distill in your backyard? Because you can. Most people don't give a shit. My neighbors don't care. I do what I want. Are you limited to a stovetop? If you're limited to a stovetop, I do recommend that you get a Vever still or something along those lines. King Sunshine makes stills on Amazon, little stovetop stills. Vever, if you have the money, there's a couple guys that make some really good 3 and 5 gallon stovetop stills. One of them's Copper Still Co. One of them's 13 Stills. If there's anybody out there I forget, I'm sorry, leave it in the comments. I'm talking about 3 to 5 gallon stovetop indoor stills. And it's fine. You get all these guys talking all this shit about distilling indoors. They like to act like it's super dangerous. It's not. It's not. If you have halfway bit of common sense, it's no different from running a pressure cooker. I mean, if you could can your own vegetables, if you could make pickles, then you could distill. I don't understand this divide in the community where these guys are just telling everybody this bullshit, and they act like you have to hunker down in the woods one time a year or 2 times a year. I distill 2-3 times a week. Fuck that. Fuck that. And I don't mean to cuss because I've been trying to get away from it, but don't let them people act like they know what they're talking about. Don't let them dictate to you what's right and what's wrong and what you should or should not do. Do what you want to do. That's where the fuck your mama shit came from. And that's why I'm shadow banned forever on YouTube. I'm shadow banned. It's just the way it is. But the number one thing you should do is what you want. Do what you want to do. Don't let somebody else tell you. You want my opinion? That's what this is. In the end, you're going to do what you want to do, right? So do it. So still wise, if you're stuck on a stovetop, get you something that's small. You're stuck in a house, an apartment, whatever. If you got a garage, you could get a turkey burner. You could get a propane tank. The number one still I recommend to start out on is a keg still. You could take that keg still and you could add sections to it. You can make a thumper. You can make a jar setup. You could do all that. And if you don't want to build one, I'll build it for you. philbillymoonshine.com. Now I get this other question quite a bit. Hold on. Let's go back to the distills. Now, if you got a bunch of money and you just want to go from 0 to 100 real quick, get you a big old pot still. Get you a 20, a 50, a 100, whatever you want. There's a whole bunch of still companies I could recommend. I know a lot of these guys, and a lot of them are great. If you want something, newer, up to date, with heating elements, or if you want something old school, that you're always going to run on fire, let me know. I know a whole bunch of still builders. I'm friends with all these guys. Just let me know what you're looking for, and I could recommend somebody. Now, the number 2 question I get all the time is, I got a still. What do I run? First mash. My one recommendation is Uncle Jesse's Simple Sour Mash. It is the easiest. It incorporates corn and sugar. And yes, you don't cook it, and don't let nobody tell you that it ain't moonshine or you're doing it wrong because you didn't cook it, you didn't use amylase or malted barley. That's all bullshit. It's going to create a really good liquor. It's easy to do, and all you have to do is set it and forget it. I have a video. There's other people with videos out there. There's a Wikipedia page on it. It is the #1 easiest recipe to get into. Even if you don't like corn or corn liquor, you should try the Uncle Jesse's Simple Sour Mash. Super easy to do. You can add and subtract. You can make that mash for any size you want. You just need sugar, corn. You could get cracked corn from the store, or you could use a good heirloom corn. Whatever you want to do. Not to mention is every mash after that, you can run that thing up to 9 sour mashes. So just add sugar and backset and water. You'll see on the video. And you could just keep using that. Even if you buy expensive corn, you can keep that corn going. Sour mash and sour mash and sour mash. Some people don't like sour mash. I do. It's an economic way to get drunk. All you need to do is add some sugar and some backset. A few days later, you got another mash. You're running again. Running again. Running again. The same old corn. And it is awesome. I like it. I even like the flavor. But, I'm a little different from most people. Remember my #2 questions? I do recommend, even if you don't like corn liquor, if you're new, to try corn liquor. And if you're new, try Uncle Jesse's. You'll be surprised. It comes out good. It makes some good liquor. I think I have a jar from somewhere from my very first Uncle Jesse's. It's great. It's great liquor. I drank the shit out of it. Get your foot in the door. Get you a still. I will never ever talk trash about a still unless it's dangerous. Even then, I'll probably still run it because I'm a little different, a little wild, or it runs like shit, or creates shitty liquor, and I don't even care about that. As long as you're making liquor, you're doing something. Getting your foot in the door, that's priority #1 to me, anyways. I want to get as many people doing this as possible, and I've gotten a lot of people started. And a lot of these guys, man, they're awesome. They love it. I'd say all these guys love it. They send me liquor. They bring me liquor. They say, I made this. This is, I got into this because of you. And there's nothing greater in the world. You're going to love it. And it's not so much as a hobby as a way of life. You just don't realize it's a way of life yet, because once you start, you can't stop. And it's awesome. You will eventually, eventually it will consume you, but it's a fucking hell of a journey. So don't waste no time. Get you a still, get you a trash barrel, make you a mash, and the #1 tip I can give you is, because I get that question a lot too. The #1 tip is learn how to read a Brix hydrometer. They call them triple scale hydrometer, Brix hydrometer, gravity hydrometer. Learn how to read. There's 2 readings. 1.000, and I'll do another video. I'll make another video on that. But that's my #1 recommendation. As if I learned something when I first started, what would have helped me? That thing's awesome. I avoided using it for years because I'm stubborn and I'm like, I don't need that. And I'll taste it and smell it. That's fine. That's the old school way. Taste it, smell it. But it doesn't work as good as that, because that thing's exact. And people were always asking for recipe books and recipes. With a triple scale hydrometer, you don't need a recipe. at all. You don't need to know that there's 2 pounds of sugar per every gallon of water is going to give you a 1080 reading. You don't need to know that because that little hydrometer, and that's good to know, but it's not an exact. Like, you're not exactly going to be able to calculate that shit. So this thing will calculate it. It will help you. Now, knowing knowledge that 2 gallons per 1 gallon, or 2 pounds per 1 gallon of water is 1080, that's great. But who the fuck wants to make sugar shine all the time anyway? So you go with 1 pound of fruit, 1 pound of sugar, 1 gallon of water, 1 to 1 to 1 ratio. That's a good recipe too. That's good knowledge to have. But you could tweak it, make it just a little better if you know exactly what your gravity reading is. You're always going to want it about 1070, 1080. Because you want a decent amount of alcohol. I always go with 1080 because I want as much alcohol as I can get. Sometimes 1070 on certain things. They give you a better flavor. But I'll make a video on that. That's my #1 recommendation as to save you a bunch of trouble in the future. You know, it will help your life, make your life much easier. That's a question I got asked recently. My buddy Cyrus from Still in the Clear asked me that question on a thing. I never got that, by the way, Cyrus. I never got the newsletter. He made a newsletter. I didn't see the end product, but he asked me questions and I answered them, and I think that was a really good question. So also, that's a good channel, Still in the Clear. Check out my buddy Cyrus. 2 other good channels, if you're getting started, Barley and Hops. I don't think he makes videos any longer, but he has a slew of videos out there that help you along your way. And you know, my hero Still It. I wish you'd get back to me, man. I'd love to do a podcast with Jesse from Still It. That guy's channel is freaking amazing. And there's Alan Bishop. You could find him he's everywhere now. He's on podcasts. He has a podcast. He has multiple podcasts. That guy's a wealth of knowledge. So if you're just getting started, check a lot of these guys out. These are I'm going to try and do one of these every week. I know I rambled, but that's the point of this video. It's just me talking, trying to help people out. And if you already know, then you watch this for no reason. But if you're new to this, I hope that answered a couple questions. That's my opinion on getting started. Any still's better than no still, and any liquor's better than no liquor. See y'all later.